How you doing? This is the Resurrected Hobbyist. I am bringing you a project introduction slash update. I say slash update because if you followed my GitHub repo, you've probably seen me make updates to this particular project. But if you're viewing this on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, this is probably the first time you've seen notice of this project. So, what project am I working on? Well, the short version is it's going to be a text-based adventure game. Okay? This last semester I took a class called Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. And part of that class was we built a program. Surprise, surprise. Take a programming class, you program something. This particular project was we built what's called a Zork clone. For those of you who know what Zork is, sweet. For those of you who don't, Zork is one of the old school adventure games using all text-based interface. So you see, you just literally type in commands and the game executes them. I'd have to double check. I want to say Zork was released in 1974. But our project was, a Zork clone. As you can see here, this is the actual project that I did for class. And I wanted to continue working on the project after class. And I talked to the teacher, and he's all for it. The only concern he voiced was he wanted me to do something to make sure that future students could not, just kind of come and copy my code for their assignments. Which I can absolutely respect. This project was definitely a challenge for me, and I, don't want to just give a future student an easy A, especially in this class, because it was really helpful. So I kind of molded over a little bit, looked at a couple different options. Ultimately, I hit on the idea to rebase the program. And for non-programmers, what that means is you take the program that you already have in one language and convert it to another language. In this case, I'm taking the program I made that was in Java, and I'm changing it to the Python language. And that's the genesis of this adventure game project. I'm going to build a role-playing game that's intended to be text interface, similar to Zork, with more robust role-play mechanics. At this time, I have gotten the basic movement and command system set up in Python. So as you can see here, I've got a little tiny, I think it's 2-room dungeon. 2, 3, oops. Yeah, just 2 rooms that you can move around in. I also have the beginnings of a character stat system in place. And this is where I'm going to stop coding for right now. I'm not stopping the project, but one of the big things that I learned in class this past semester was you have to plan what you're going to do and make sure what you're going to do will work, which means you have to know how it's going to work. So I'm kind of going back to the drawing board, literally in a couple cases, and I'm going to work on the conceptualization and designing of my game. What do I want it to do? When you type in hello, what do I want to do? If you type in hello with a capital H versus a lowercase h, what is it going to do? Do I want to be able to talk to people? Do I want to be able to shoot people? Do I want to be able to stab them? Do I want to be able to pick their pocket? Do I want to be able to jump, fly, use telekinesis, x-ray vision? Do I want to have lasers or muskets, crossbows or bow and arrows? Both, all, none. Do I want to be able to ride a beast? Etc., 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 etc. Just so much that I could do. But I need to actually settle down, stop, and decide what I will do. So to that end, I'm going to be doing a lot of writing over the next few weeks to kind of establish what I want to do with this project. Okay? I'm doing this for a couple reasons. Number one, so that I can get a better handle on planning, design, and implementation. But number two, new semester of school. I'm taking 17 credits. So between school, work, my other work, and, my projects, time is kind of a factor. And it's easier for me to spend, 25, 30 minutes 2 or 3 times a week jotting down ideas and stuff like that than it is to spend, 3 hours a week working on programming, which, no matter how simple a function is, it turns into multiple hours. If you're a programmer, you know what I mean. So right now, the model I'm kind of working on is Rogue Trader. The Rogue Trader tabletop game, if you're familiar with that. Basically, my goal is I would like to be able to build an adventure module that is modeled on one of the adventures from that game, and then play that module, single player. So that is my goal for this project. Be sure to like, subscribe so you get updates from me. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Catch you around.